first thing that we need to say here is this is about a CD that's being produced for our little family, which extends obviously to the bigger family. When you come from a small position and you have an involvement in a horse that produced what you see on this tape, man, it gives you goose flesh and tears. And so I thought that I asked Andrew a long time ago, it's taken a while, only through Sarah did we get a result after the World Cup that we got this tape together. To tell a little story about a mare that was bought in England. It was the Roan Rocket mare, and Mick bought it. 60,000 landed in 1983. And we took 5%. And then we took 12.5, and then 25, and then 33. And then she produced, amongst others, a little filly called Valley Mist by Mount Hagen. And I walked up, and as soppy as it might sound, because I know this is not national television, this is just my family I'm talking to. So I walked up to her before she went to the sales, and I grabbed her by the little muzzle, and I said, I don't know what you're going to win, but I know you're going to breed us winners. And off she went. And she got sold at the sales, and I was a bid spotter at the time. And we sold her for 90,000. The sad news, Graham Hawkins came and told me, I'm afraid to say that the guy was trying to impress a girl. It's not going to happen. I said, are you joking? That happens later. They don't pay. But the next morning, he was obviously had this conscience. He phoned that night and said, anyhow, the fact is that it came up for sale the next day. We bought it for 70. We bought it back. And Mick came in for 10. And Graham Hawkins came in for 10. And Arthur Burnham came in for 10. Adam Kethrow came in for 10. And we had a wonderful. And James trained it. And she was a lovely filly. And she beat Sparkling Tandy and Daddy's Darling, who went on to win the Oaks. And she won too. A good filly that I believed in. And I bought all the partners out. Clive Gardner, gave them $2,000 each. And then I phoned Mick, I said, you take Adam Kethrow out and you keep 20 and I'll take the 80. And we got a filly here that we can hopefully have some fun with. For the Mount Hagen mare. So I think they were very well paid and very fairly treated. Then, of course, National Emblem had just come off the track and gone to Summerhill. Let's take a chance. He's a bull of a horse. Let's go with him. And that's when we produced this colt. But the name, I think, was important. And I've got even Mick drinking one. Is Clive Gardner, the auctioneer, my cousin, who's like a brother to me. I went to him in 1985 in Pretoria when I couldn't rub two bob together, and he opened up his cabinet and said, won't you have a drink with me? I said, she's on. I had beer. Because I was a rugby player, I had beer, I didn't scotch. He opened up and there he has this bloody Johnny Walker Black. It's 1984. I said, hey, good, right? What's this, John? I don't know that stuff. He says, no, but he says, you know what? He says, you see the color of this water? When you put the scotch and the ice in, he says, that's the color of the water of the Nhlavini. And the Nhlavini was a river that flowed into Amkamas. And that's where they had their farm. Val Gardner and their whole family, and he went to municipal college and all that. That's where their farm was. And we used to visit regularly in the Nhlavini. We bloody snakes, and we used to ride horses down there. All sorts of, we did, in fact, things that maybe I won't tell you what we did down there, but it was a bloody valley in the Imkamas. And it's called Nhlavini. And then they came, I had to ask a good Zulu boy, what's Nhlavini? And someone said it's no respect in this. And of course, Mick had another turn to it. He said, no, it's the dandy and the guy that...
Hold on. Where I come from in Pondley, that's where the name originated from. Nhlavini is a playboy. And in those days, the guys, the dandy, the guys that came back from the mines used to come back with these beautiful bell-bottom denims and all the patches on them and everything else. Caps with the buttons on them and so on and so forth. So to me, he was the playboy, and he was the playboy. It was the first crop of national emblem, were unusual. We didn't know them yet, and they were some of the best foals we'd ever seen at Summerhill, until very recently. They were spectacular.
Can I just jump in here?
Yeah.
Bruce, getting back to, you dissolved the earlier partnership, the racing partnership. The breeding partnership was you and your brother-in-law. That's it.
80-20, yeah.
And then when you had this horse...
Which is not a comfortable position to be in.
No, absolutely. Did he have at any stage say, well, let's sell it? Was that the first thought?
Nick's words are always, when I talk about a foal, we have to sell it. That's my business. We have to sell it. I will confess that my children have come to me. They're now grown up and say, wow. And and my lovely wife, why did we sell it? Why? I said, but it's the same as if your son plays for South Africa or in whatever level of sport, and that's your son. We bred him, and nothing can change that. And that's why we've got this little
It's your
CD,
horse.
because it was a story, it was a putting together, it was a history of Mick buying a mare, it was staying together, growing, staying with then the Valley Mist, and then producing this incredible, and and where am I today, Paul?
Yeah.
Sitting on whose farm, sir?
Marcus
Klavervlei.
Jooste.
Marcus Jooste.
Jooste's farm. Having a drink.
and
It
we
looks
own
like
we own the
Nhlavini.
half brother together and the 3-part sister together, and what more do I want,
Well,
man?
and the fascinating thing about this, and this is the wonderful thing about this game, because unlike any other game in the world, every day there's new history being made. Marcus Jooste was a little man in those days. His first horse ever was National Emblem, and his mandate to Charles, and Charles has been a wonderful friend of all of us, was go and buy all the good National Emblems. They arrived in Cape Town, they bought Decorated Hero. This horse gave Charles Laird the opportunity to train the first champion by his champion.
Yes.
And so in a sense the largesse was spread.
Yes.
And while it was a matter of survival for us because we needed to sell horses, in a funny way 80 grand meant a lot, but it did matter that we turned the horse over for a National Emblem sale because they sold well, and he came out of the sale as the leading freshman sire at the sale. That immediately set him up. So it was good for the guys that own National Emblem. It was very good for Bruce, and it's become critical.
And Joe.
Bruce, in Marcus's time, he succeeded Marcus and Chris at the head of the Racing Association.
Yes.
And in fact, so many things in that relationship have flowed from this horse. He's much greater than just a 6-time Equus Awards finalist. He forged friendships that have lasted till this day.
What did you know when he came to race?
I went to his first run at Newmarket, and he ran 38 lengths behind, and I said to myself, give this game up, this is a joke. I can't believe what I've just seen.
Because you still had the mare.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, 38 lengths, I mean, get beaten, but and he came out the next time at the Vol and won it was his only bad run he's ever had.
Bruce Gardner was a Natal rugby player when he was 19. He flanked on the other side of the Natal scrum from Tommy Bedford. We're not talking about a child here. He was a child, but he's a sportsman. And so, in many respects, I'm proud to be his brother-in-law. But more so, I'm proud to be his partner, because I've never heard a whinge. That's important in the context of this whole story. He's just a wonderful guy to have, and he was there almost from the day when the gates opened. But he was my kid brother in those days. And we never missed a meeting at Greyville. We used to go down because we were both victims. So this man's got the game in his blood, and he was a sportsman. And to breed horses, in the long run, you need to be a sport. So that's his history. And I'll also tell you this, that he never lost faith in Valley Mist. It was fundamental to his decision to stick with her. So when she came back to the farm, he needed a partner to buy Kithra, because Kithra was asking a bit more. But the great thing is, don't forget, he also bred a filly called Mystery Guest from the mother of Valley Mist, who won the fillies Guineas.
Yeah, Campbell had.
Yes, the grey horse.
And
Bolted
then, of
before
course,
they started.
we know the rest
Germiston.
of the story. Since then, Optima Maxima is a group horse, and Arabian Mist won the Merchants.
Merchants.
So there's a great history to this thing.
When you go into the sport, my father has always been interested in racing. He's 92 now, and our children are very lucky to still have their grandfather alive, and he had a passion for racing, and because he had that passion for racing, I was always interested in horses, and I rode as a young girl. And he always used to say to me, you must be careful of that man, Bruce. He likes the races, and I'm not too sure whether he gambles too much. And my big brother said, no, Dad, don't worry, he's a good guy, because he also went to Northlands. Anyway, I think it's a team effort. I think when you get married, you must share the same interests.
She supported me, but
Yeah.
I was always living a little bit out of my pocket when it came to horses. Are my passion, horses are my game. After 30 years, I can say, she allowed me because, but I had to sell because, and then let me move on and be my son or our son.
Yes.
But I've watched every one of his. Flew to Durban. I'm never ever had a regret in my life. As it turned out, we ended up surfing on a board together.
Yeah.
But I didn't know him, I didn't know Ingrid and whatever. And that's why I say, the way to finish this off is to say Mazel Tov to Ingrid and to Marcus for being what they are. And to think where we've come this whole way circle round. So it's a path, it's a road. You know, we've had some great times in Dubai, and we watched the world go around, and we're just happy to see people have success with something that's part of our lives.
Yeah, I agree.
Mick, just touching you before you wrap it up here. When the hammer came down at 105, what did you think at that stage?
No,
a good price.
Was a good price.
Good price, Bruce. Good price,
You know,
Bruce.
anything in those days.
Yeah, no,
100
was
grand
nice.
was a lot of money. 100 was a critical thing in the sense that it was a psychological thing, and I suspect that our closeness came about through the national emblem being with us, and critically through Nhlavini. Nhlavini was a catalyst in this whole thing, and the whole Klavervlei story today is a product of those seeds that were laid by National Emblem and by Nhlavini. Because Nhlavini was no doubt the flagship from the first crop, and he saw the potential of repeating the story, of reproducing the story. And you know, I can say this because it's an irony of the game, but the next champion breeders of South Africa will be Klavervlei. And I say that without any difficulty. And I say it as the guy who's won 5 in a row. And it's not easy to acknowledge that. But I have to tell you, it'll be one of the moments in my life when I hand that trophy over, because only 6 breeders have ever won it in all of recorded history. It'll be one of the greatest moments in my life when I hand it over to Klavervlei, because of what this man has done for this industry to change all of our lives, and for what he's done in generating this spectacular growth in our industry. He's driven it single-handedly. He's added value that we've never known, and none of us have ever appreciated. And it'll be the greatest honor for me to hand it over.
Is it inevitable?
It is inevitable, yeah. Because of the quality of what they're doing, because of the way they're doing it. And you know, these things are always, they pass in clouds. And we need to identify other things that we can hang our business on and judge our business by. And who knows in the long term where we'll all be. But the fact is, this man's changed the face of this game. And I nominated this 10 years ago. And he's taken us to places we've never been. And what pleases me most is that a granddaughter of Valley Mist is back in the fold, in the sense that Bruce has partnered Marcus in buying into it. So you say, well, is this story over? The saga is not over by any
Saga
means.
continues.
But the reality is only one hangs on a very thin thread.
Fourth generation I'm involved in that family.
Fantastic.
4th generation.
Gates are open, runners fight away. Nhlavini is still in front, going towards a 150-meter marker is a very, very big lead. And number 12, Nhlavini is going well clear inside the last 50, and they can't go with this one. Number 12 will win it clear.
He won like he's always shown he would. He had just taken a little bit longer to come to hand. You know, I had 4 the first time he ran. I had 4 in the race, and Anton always has the pick. And he finished 30 lengths or 38 lengths, but that's what racing's all about. It was Newmarket, it was stage fright, whatever. But I'm just very pleased that he's won.
And where they go. Damex stood in the starting stalls, losing the best part of 8 to 10 lengths. Royal Exchange is very keen to get on with it and has the lead a length and a half to his market rival. And Nhlavini's racing second, Frequent Dance is third, and then comes Molten Rock. Broad Legion is up on the move on the far side, then comes Ebony, behind that is Royal Gem. The last two are Damek and National Law. They come towards the final 200 now, and Nhlavini along the inside. Royal Exchange is trying to come back at him, and then comes Frequent Dance, but Nhlavini is now striding clear, and Nhlavini is going to run out a very, very impressive and comfortable winner. He'll win it by 4.5 lengths from...
Beautiful looking individual, very much in the mould of his great father, and a very exciting performance.
I've always said this is a top horse. It's his first run as a gelding. You know, I wouldn't say that he's been unlucky, but he's still a big baby, and I think he's going to go a long way.
Nhlavini, the favourite, walking up. Carusa to the last one. They're all set on their way from the 1600 metre marker. And Classic Lord was one of the first out of the stalls as they go down to the 1,000-metre marker. Gallop to Glory from Nhlavini and Racing Raymond. Stephen Charles was fourth in Classic Lord. The Godfather 5 lengths to trace down, and Carusan continues to trail about 7 lengths off the leader. They spin for home, 500 to go. Gallop to Glory, but Nhlavini's quick to challenge and takes the lead. Down the inside, Racing Raymond, then Classic Lord, Stephen Charles and the Godfather. But Nhlavini struck the front at the 300-metre marker. Classic Lord trying to run on. Down the inside, Carusan. But it's Nhlavini past the 200-metre marker. Carusan's trying to kick on with Classic Lord. Nhlavini just the leader. Carusan and Classic Lord coming late. Nhlavini won it though.
Yeah, I think the commentator sussed it out pretty well, and I think probably even better on the galloping track.
I think he'll run anywhere. He's just got that action that you can put him on any course and he'll go further. He's a very smart 3-year-old.
I get very emotional, but Charles has been so excited about this horse from day one. And when he said to me, this horse is running, it's my son loves this horse, and I said, okay, I will come. I'm on holiday, but I will come, you know. He's a lovely horse, man. Yeah, he just.
Now here comes the curveball, Nhlavini. What is
Nhlavini.
Nhlavini.
It means no respect. Apparently, when he was a youngster at the farm with Mickey, yeah, he was just the boss. He had no respect for anybody, which is also quite a good. But he's so laid back, you know. He's very respectful now. Actually, but he's such a lovely horse. It gives you you get so emotional, you know.
Sprinting away from the 1,200-metre marker. As they come now towards the final 400 metres, it's down the centre of the track. Travis McGee that moves in. Nhlavini towards the outside with Fatal Distraction. Nuisance is starting to close ground towards the inside. National Flag is also staking a claim, but Nhlavini is in front as they come inside the final 150. Fatal Distraction, Nuisance, National Flag, a new Marais Friend is also flying. Nhlavini just has his nose in front. Nhlavini going on from Marais Friend, Nuisance and National Flag, but Nhlavini has won at 3 parts of a length. Marais Friend second. And away they go. Decorated Hero, the first to break the line, goes on to grab the early lead. Little Romeo came out next best. Just behind them is Kushka. Now Gathered Diamonds is moving past them on the outside. As they come down towards the 300-metre marker now, it's Decorated Hero on the stand side from Kushka. Then comes Emerald Edition, and Nhlavini is trying to kick on towards the inside. Little Romeo. Royal Deed is finding no extras that come inside the last 100. And then Nhlavini has come from the tail of the field and to win the Eagle Stakes impressively. And Nhlavini wins it from Decorated Hero, then Kushka and Little Romeo.
To go in the Mondi, and away they go from the 1,200-metre marker. Monastery up the middle of the track, one of the first to get going and showing good early toe along the inside is Ramblin' Jack Elliott. Big Sky Country is quite fast as well in the early stages, and they've been followed by Rembrandts just a length behind the leaders. Decorated Heroes on their outside with Mr. Steadfast and Marati's Magics on the grandstand side. It's Nhlavini about to take over now. From up the outside, the grey horse Monte Cristo, Super Homes along the inside, but Nhlavini with 150 to go is going on with it strongly. And it's Nhlavini in the closing stages. Super Homes stablemate is trying to wear down, but Nhlavini has got too much class, and Nhlavini won it from Super Home.
Really at a loss for words. I'd like to thank so many people, and I don't really want to even start. I might leave someone out. I always thought this is a top horse. I'm very pleased for National Emblem. Rhys van Wyk told me years ago, run the father in the Mondi, he'll win. And I never believed him. But it just shows they are versatile. They can go from the sprint to hopefully a longer distance.
It's a real privilege to be here to represent Mick and the Summerhill team, and our congratulations to all the connections of Nhlavini. That blanket looked very good on him, and we're very, very proud in our association with National Emblem, and well done to the courage of their convictions, you know, in a stallion and in a racehorse that was superb in his time. Congratulations to everybody.
Now they start to make the way past the 600 and out on the lead. Decorated Hero going together with Nuisance. Poppy is the grey. Wacky Lad, Golden Loom. Big Sky Country's going well enough, 2 lengths off the leader. All will be well as in behind those runners. Just 3 lengths to make up. Nuisance as in behind that. Nhlavini's got 4 lengths to make up now as they come to the 300. Big Sky Country, Decorated Hero. Wacky Lad is still right there. Then came along the inside Nhlavini and Poppy. Big Sky Country coming home strongly. Nhlavini is coming home hard up the far inside. Big Sky Country. Nhlavini is all over him, and Nhlavini is a top class horse.
Must be a joy to train. I mean, I'm sure that it's a very emotional horse to train, but a brilliant horse nevertheless.
No, he is brilliant, but let me tell you, he gives us absolute heartaches. He's got so many problems. He costs the owners a fortune to keep going, but he's worth it. It's so great. Between all the connections, we made a decision to keep him up the straight. We'll only see him up the straight now. His form up the straight has been world class. We've tried to go around the turn. He's run second in 3 Group 1s, but perhaps, like his father, could have been, he's a sprinter.
Well done to you, Charlie. And this one, of course, bred by Summerhill Stud, the home of National Emblem, and no doubt he was fed on Vuma Foods, which comes from that part of the world. A real team effort over here, and Nhlavini winning a superb contest in the Grade 2 Spring Handicap run a moment ago at Newmarket.
$400 to go in the diadem. Zion is out in front, 1 length clear. Malinga's out after him up the centre. Nhlavini is being asked the question, switching out for a run, and Eli's Game going down the inside. Zion has the lead. Malinga's up the centre. Nhlavini is now coming home strongly in the closing stages. It's Zion. Nhlavini is absolutely flying in the closing stages, and Nhlavini is going to get up close home. Nhlavini, I would say, on the line to win it from Zion in second. Off the false rail they come, 400 metres left to go, and Hinterland comes forward and takes it over. Consent to Conquer Madoba. They being followed by Eli's Game, and then comes Malinga. National Title and Nhlavini are taking off together up the centre. 200 to go, Hinterland's in front, Eli's Game, National Title, Nhlavini erupting into action on the stand side. Down the inside it's Hinterland. Nhlavini's absolutely flying, and Nhlavini's going to get up close home to win it from Hinterland, Eli's Game and National Title.
I'll tell you what happened. I think the Cape Flying last year, he's not a 5 furlong horse. We ran him, he got beaten a short head.
The race of the year, I might say.
The race of the year, yeah, and it actually knocked him. And it's taken him a long time to come back to himself. He also doesn't enjoy Durban. He's never done well in Durban, but he loves Cape Town.
Come now into that home straight. They've got about 600 metres left to go, and Thorn King by a couple of lengths. Second position on the outside is Toreador. Moving up on the extreme outside now, starting to run on his Classic Lord Grand format. Nhlavini's got 4 lengths to make up Simply Salmon. They come down the last 300 metres now. Suntagonal right down the inside of the track is still Thorn King. On the outside, Grand format, and Speed Racer shot clear. Speed Racer, Thorn King down the inside, and Nhlavini is also moving up. But Speed Racer is the one to catch. Nhlavini is chasing hard. It's still in front, Speed Racer, but Nhlavini is catching stride for stride. Nhlavini's going to get up. Nhlavini won it from Speed Racer. Third place to Toreador came from last, then Thorn King. Look at Nhlavini, had to come around horses, but now starts to launch his attack. And you'll see here that Nhlavini will just get up to beat Speed Racer and win going away. Charles led on record as having said that this is his optimum distance, 1400 metres.
We planned this race a long time ago. Last year they had this race on the inside track, which didn't quite suit him.
You won it last year with Hinterland.
Yeah, we won it last year, and outside track, the 14, I still believe it is his true best distance, but there aren't too many 1400s.
when you saw Speed Racer going away, you thought, oh my goodness. But then you thought he dug down. He really just dug down deep.
No, he's a super horse. He's a grand guy. I think that the secret to this horse is that we send him to the farm for the whole of the winter, and he enjoys the holiday, and he comes back well.
Nhlavini. As they come down towards the 400 metres mark, jump in Joshua Warlord along the inside. Nhlavini has been extricated out from behind a wall of horses. Stellite is coming to challenge as well. London Gold is going to have to find a little bit more as they come inside the closing stages. Jumping Joshua, but Nhlavini is in full cry on the outside, and Nhlavini with Stellite challenging along the inside, but Nhlavini has won it from the back of the field. Stellite second, Jumping Joshua.
This grand old fella keeps on going back home and keeps on coming back stronger.
No, absolutely. It's a great win for all of us. It's very much a team effort. As you say, he goes back home. He goes to Summerhill every winter, and we bring him back just to get him ready for the Diadem. He goes to Cape Town in December. He's won the last 2 runnings, and I'd love him to win 3 in a row. But it's fantastic. Anton knows him very, very well. He gave me a little bit of a heart failure, but as he said in his post-race quip, you need to get there late.
Ready to sprint. Gates are open and runners sent on their way. Laredo Gold jumped a little sideways there, slightly hampering Nothing But Silk, but didn't appear too serious. Nothing But Silk is going off to lead them, and Symphony of Joy up the outside is showing plenty of early speed. They're inside the final 500. Nothing But Silk over towards the inside, leads that inside group, being tracked by Nhlavini. Symphony of Joy and Sevillano are right there up towards the outside. They're inside the final 200 now. Nothing But Silk still leads them down towards the inside. Nhlavini and Sevillano are now setting out after her. Sevillano in the centre is coming strongly with Nhlavini. Nothing But Silk can find no extra. She's gone. Nhlavini, Sevillano left to fight it out. Nhlavini, Sevillano, but Nhlavini is going on too well. And Nhlavini has gone on to win it from Sevillano.
You know, he's evergreen, this horse, and it's just fantastic. I mean, it's really a feather in Charles's cap to keep this horse going for what, 46 or 47 runs.
Yeah, that's right, and this is his 13th win, Anton.
Correct.
I wore it tight because I knew I'd be on TV today.
I'm delighted to see that, Charles. This was a bit special to you.
No, he's very, very special. And also today he goes through the 2 million, which is exciting. This is the first national emblem, which means a lot to us. As Anton said, you know, he's been here 5 times. He's had 3 wins and 2 seconds down the straight. If he'd probably been bought by Cape Town, he'd probably be a 22-time winner by now.
WPOTA Diadem Stakes field, 5 away from that 1200 metre mark, with Ball-Siders slow off the mark. 2 groups past the 600 metre mark. It's Ball-Siders stand side, the one going quickest, being followed by Tornado King and Loyalist with Smart Fight along the inside. Nhlavini starting to creep closer. The action towards the inside has got Arctic Gale there. To Be or Not To Be starts to move into contention. Royal IQ and Something Else down the inside. The race up towards the 200 in the Diadem Stakes. Nhlavini being switched towards the stand side. To Be or Not To Be is right there along the inside. Something Else, Arctic Gale. It's wide open. Nhlavini is coming home strongly. Tornado King along the inside. Royal IQ's taken off. They hit the wire and Nhlavini got there. Hot up against the outside, and now sneaking into the picture is the evergreen and ever game number 1 Nhlavini, who absolutely loves Kenilworth, and he's come through to win his 3rd Diadem Stakes here this afternoon.
Thank you very much. I said to Stan early last year, I mean, he'd probably win 30 races if he trained in the Cape from the start of his career. Well done to the connections, well done to him. He's just a star. When he tells us that he's had enough, we'll stop, otherwise we keep going. He's loving it, he's enjoying himself. He's a very sound horse, and in his earlier part of his career, he wasn't a sound horse at all, and that's why we changed his whole tactics. We brought him back shorter, changed his training procedure, and it's fantastic, and it's just great
My dad trained his father, then I took the father over, and it's great to have the best son of National Emblem.
Fantastic training feed, keep an 8-year-old in the boil for as long as what Charles has. It's actually horses like this that should actually bring people back to the course. Talk about honouring the greats. Fantastic day for Mr. Kennemer. Nhlavini might fall into that category as well.
Straightens up, comes forward, goes in. To be or not to be, completes the lineup. Finally, we're ready to go. Runners fired away from that 1,000 meter mark. The speed is on from the word go as National Flame lands running up the middle and is off to an immediate lead. Forecast along the inside with Pollination, then comes To Be or Not To Be. Towards the outside we got Captive Prince, Ballsiders up the middle. Then comes Laredo Gull, far under par. Towards the outside of that lot we got Nhlavini and he's sitting about 4 lengths off that leader. 600 to go, National Flames in front and Pollination's up the middle with Forecast. Then comes To Be or Not To Be and Something Else. Captive Princess stands side. Ballside has already been reminded of the task at hand. Laredo Gold. Nhlavini's got 6 to go. He's delivering his bit up the outside. Inside the final 400, National Flames in front, Pollination, To Be or Not To Be, and Nhlavini is now in full cry, stand side. 150 to go, National Flame, but here comes Nhlavini. Nhlavini is charging home in the closing stages, and Nhlavini is coming away to win it. Nhlavini wins it from Pollination, National Flame and Laredo Gold.
It's not often that I'm at a loss for words, but
Yes.
I think the race speaks for itself.
Yeah, the terrific early pace, I suppose, played into his hands, if one's got to say that.
Yes, it did. He's not really a horse that wants to be bustled early on, but unfortunately, due to the conditions and the penetrometer reading, the game's pretty quick. You're forced to actually get after him a bit sooner than what you want to. It was a great one.
Yeah, he seems to enjoy the outside fence there as well.
Yeah, I think both of us, we like to stay out of trouble.
I'm just very pleased that he's done his best here because this is where he likes to be.
Charlie, halfway through the race, you've got to have been worried.
I was very, very worried, but probably going through about the 500, I could see he was relaxed and Anton was looking to come out. And I know once he gets out, he'll take off.
Somebody was telling me off air that you were telling him when he starts coming through the Hex River Valley, this horse, he starts feeling good.
He starts screaming and shouting. I tell you, he's a different horse here. As I've said before, well done to the owners. Marcus Hurst has been a tremendous support. We've just been to a sale and hopefully we can repay some of what we spent. But it's just fantastic and it's great. Mr. Bex supports our yard and it's great that we can win his race 2 years in a row.